Man Utd news update, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's cost cuts, Hag'S plans, and a potential Pogba return. Stay tuned as we break down the latest in Manchester United's future. Hidden consequences of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's cost-cutting at Manchester United are coming. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's radical cost-cutting at Old Trafford continues, and withdrawing small perks has shattered staff morale. When anti-fracking demonstrators protested against Ineos 6 years ago, they carried masks depicting Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the devil. Ratcliffe hasn't been afraid to upset people throughout his career, and his decision-making at Manchester United has seen his reputation plummet. Ratcliffe has only been in charge of football operations at Old Trafford for a year, but he's overseen a disastrous 12 months by making several bad decisions on the pitch and away from it. The British billionaire has made headlines again this week because of his decision to clamp down on more staff perks. There will be no more free lunches for staff at Old Trafford, and assurances for catering arrangements to remain the same at Carrington have only been given for the remainder of the season. The morale at United has been described as being at rock bottom, but the classless decision to remove free lunches will find out whether the mood among staff can possibly get even lower. That is for the staff who remain after another round of redundancies, which were confirmed on Monday afternoon when United bizarrely announced job losses as a transformation plan. A snippet of the official statement from the club read, "As part of these measures, the club anticipates that approximately 150-200 jobs may be made redundant, subject to a consultation process with employees. These would be in addition to the 250 roles removed last year. When the changes are made, 450 staff could have left United within the space of a year," and CEO Omar Barada explained, "We deeply regret the impact on those affected colleagues. However, these hard choices are necessary to put the club back on a stable financial footing." Last summer, Ratcliffe's review of the club's operations found United had the highest employee count in the Premier League, and redundancies were deemed necessary by Ineos. United's financial figures were released last week, and they painted a bleak picture. United wouldn't be laying off staff if the club was in a healthy financial position. But the conditions they are creating for the employees who are kept are not befitting of the biggest club in England. Ratcliffe needed to make changes, but it's the stringent penny pinching that has made supporters question his morality. It all started last May, when club staff were told they had to pay £20 to travel to Wembley for the FA Cup final, despite travel for cup finals having been previously paid for. United had also given pre-match food and accommodation to their 1,100 staff members, but those benefits were scrapped, and that was the beginning of Ratcliffe's small but hurtful cuts. The savings made by such decisions are minimal. They are a drop in the ocean compared to expenditure on players, and first-team mismanagement is the reason for the problem. Although some of Ratcliffe's changes have not felt like a big deal in isolation, they have gradually totted up, and the staff who survived the latest redundancies will likely consider their futures. United have claimed ending free staff meals at Old Trafford will save £1 million, and some have pointed out that employees in ordinary workplaces are expected to pay for their own lunch. Although that ignores the fact United like to insist they are one of the world's biggest clubs. If that is true, it is not an ordinary workplace, and staff could perhaps be treated to small perks, especially when they cost a tiny amount compared to how much has been wasted on transfers and player wages. Ratcliffe has got rid of staff and made the lives of the staff who remain much worse. So nobody will blame them for looking elsewhere and potentially joining other Premier League clubs. There are bound to be staff members who survive the fresh redundancies that will look for new jobs regardless. Who would want to work at United right now? It's a grim situation. Man Utd news, Erik shares future plans as struggling Rasmus Højlund defended. Manchester United will be hoping to get back to winning ways when they host Ipswich at Old Trafford on Wednesday. Ruben Amorim's side are without a win in their last 3 Premier League games and are currently languishing in 15th. They drew 2-2 with Everton in their last game, with second-half strikes from Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte canceling out goals from Beto and Abdoulaye Doucouré. They will be keen to pick up all 3 points when they take on Ipswich, who are in the relegation zone and 5 points from safety. Here, Mishra Football has taken a look at the biggest news and gossip coming out of Old Trafford ahead of their clash with the Tractor Boys. Hag'S future plans, Erik Ten Hag has opened up about his sacking and revealed he hopes to be back in the dugout next season. Ten Hag was sacked by United back in October after a poor start to the season, having only just been handed a contract extension and been backed heavily in the transfer window. The Dutchman has since been linked with a number of vacancies across Europe, but he has decided to wait until next summer. In an interview via his agency SCG, Ten Hag revealed, "I've already decided not to take any job until the 1st of July, so until the start of the new season." Højlund, defended Rasmus Højlund, has now gone 16 games without a goal in all competitions this season, but former England goalkeeper Joe Hart believes his struggles are down to the way United are playing. "He's on his own all the time," Hart said on Match of the Day 2. "They're asking a recently turned 22 guy who's out of form. It looks like they're just lumping the ball up to him and saying, 'Can you score us a goal?' As you say, confidence is low. He's not offering a lot." Isak and Salah are great examples as the lead men in their teams. Do they want them lumping it over the top? No. But is it effective at certain points in the game? Of course it is. And it's the timing that's key. Great example there of Højlund wanting to go, not knowing when to go, Fernandes getting his head down. And it just looks so confused, and that gives the opposition so much confidence. Man Utd stars confused Premier League legend Alan Shearer believes United's players have been left confused by Amorim's tactics. Reflecting on their draw with Everton, Shearer told The Rest is Football, "Everton were brilliant at what they were doing in the pressing and all of those things, but Man United were just standing off Everton and letting them knock it around and play. And I looked at the players and I'm thinking, I don't know whether you think you should actually go and close down or sit and try to be compact and tight. They just look confused. They really look confused in what the manager was trying to get them to do for 72 minutes. Up until Bruno's goal, they were terrible." Manchester United ponder surprise move for Paul Pogba. Manchester United are pondering a surprise move for Paul Pogba. According to a report by Spanish outlet Hag'S, Manchester United are considering a sensational move to bring Paul Pogba back to the club after his departure from Juventus. The French midfielder is currently without a club following his contract termination due to a FIFA-imposed ban for testing positive for doping. With Pogba now a free agent, Manchester United are said to be weighing up the possibility of offering him a one-year contract. However, given his struggles with injuries and inconsistency in recent years, the Red Devils approaching the situation with caution. Any potential deal is expected to come with a heavily incentivized, performance-based salary structure rather than a lucrative fixed wage. Such a move would undoubtedly raise eyebrows among United supporters, many of whom still recall Pogba's frustrating second stint at the club. While he delivered flashes of brilliance, his time at Old Trafford was marred by inconsistency, injury problems, and off-field distractions. Bringing him back would be a gamble, but one United might be willing to take given their current midfield issues. MLS interest could provide an alternative. Despite Manchester United's reported interest, Pogba is not short of alternative options. Clubs from Major League Soccer, MLS, have also held talks with the 30-year-old, viewing him as a potential marquee signing. With the likes of Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba already making waves in MLS, Pogba could see a move to the United States as an opportunity to rebuild his career away from the intense scrutiny of European football. The lifestyle and lower physical demands of the league might also appeal to him as he seeks to regain fitness and form. At the same time, some European clubs could yet enter the race for Pogba's signature, but his high wages and recent inactivity may act as deterrents. A risk worth taking or a step backward? The prospect of Pogba returning to Manchester United is intriguing but also questionable. Given his injury history, off-field drama, and inconsistency, bringing him back would be a massive risk. While a short-term performance-based deal mitigates some financial concerns, it does little to address the long-term vision of the club. Manchester United needs stability, and signing Pogba would represent a gamble at a time when they should be focusing on building a more cohesive and disciplined squad under Ruben Amorim. While the Frenchman's undeniable talent is tempting, his second stint at Old Trafford proved that ability alone is not enough. Ultimately, Pogba's next move will shape the final chapter of his career. If Manchester United do go ahead with this surprising decision, they must ensure that it aligns with their broader ambitions rather than becoming another expensive, short-sighted move. Man Utd willing to hand one-year contract to free agent with club keen on bonus-based salary. Man Utd reportedly have their sights set on a World Cup winning midfielder. Premier League giants Manchester United are reportedly planning a shock move to re-sign Paul Pogba for a third time as they respond to an avalanche of injury issues in the midfield area. The Red Devils are currently without youngster Kobbie Mainoo with a calf problem and are also missing former Chelsea star Mason Mount, who has struggled with a series of setbacks since arriving from Stamford Bridge. Christian Eriksen, who's expected to leave Old Trafford upon the expiration of his contract in the summer, has also struggled for form, while youngster Toby Collier is also injured after showing promise in the early months of Ruben Amorim's reign. United are currently a shadow of the team that they have been in recent seasons, and as it stands are on course for their worst league finish of the Premier League era, and their darkest campaign since their relegation from the top flight in 1974. With the January transfer window now closed, United are reported to be assessing the free agent market for their talented players that can rejuvenate their season on a short-term basis. The report Hag'S claims that Paul Pogba is under consideration by the United hierarchy as they aim to offer the Frenchman a career lifeline after returning from a doping ban. The positive test resulted in the termination of his contract at Juventus. United are said to be considering offering the 2018 World Cup winner a short-term one-year contract, which includes a lower salary than expected, with a bonus-based structure which could increase Pogba's salary depending on his performances. It is a move that would carry less risk. However, the overall deal would still represent a risk to the Red Devils, given Pogba's lack of game time in recent years, with his last appearance for Juventus coming way back in September 2023, when he made a brief cameo appearance off the bench during a 2-0 Serie A victory over Empoli. In fact, since leaving United, Pogba has only played 12 professional matches, while only starting one league game during the entirety of his second spell with the Old Lady. Should Man Utd sign Paul Pogba for a third time? Paul Pogba came through the ranks at Manchester United and made just 3 league appearances under Sir Alex Ferguson before ultimately turning down a new contract. He signed for Juventus on a free transfer in 2012 and made 178 appearances in total while establishing himself as one of the top midfielders in world football. He lifted 4 league titles, 2 Coppa Italians, and 2 Supercoppa Italiana trophies during his first spell at Juventus, and was part of a team which also reached the Champions League final in 2015. Pogba returned to Old Trafford for a then world record fee of 89.3 million in 2016, marking one of the most talked about moves of the last decade at United. The Frenchman struggled with consistency and injuries for large periods of his stay at the LCUB, but was able to lift the Europa League and Carabao Cup under Jose Mourinho. He also made the PFA Team of the Year in 2018-19 under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and sporadically showed glimpses of his incredible quality. If they can get Pogba at this best, then United will have landed an incredible coup by bringing the Frenchman home. However, given his long-running list of injuries, his lack of first-team action, and his failure to deliver consistently across his previous spell in a Red Devil shirt, it would present a huge risk for Amorim and his team.